The desert sands had settled. Moses, the great leader, was gone. The Israelites stood at the edge of a new chapter, a land promised by God. Leading them was Joshua, a man of courage and faith. God spoke to Joshua, "Be strong and very courageous." These words weren't just for Joshua. They were for the entire nation. A new era was beginning. Their destination was Canaan, a land flowing with milk and honey. But to get there, they would face many enemies and challenges. God promised Joshua, "I will be with you. I will never leave you nor forsake you." God's presence would be their strength, their shield, and their guide. I'm sure you've heard the news. BibleTales963.store is your new go-to for all things faith-inspired. At BibleTales963.store, we've got something for everyone. Whether you're looking for a thoughtful gift or a little something to express your faith, our collection has you covered. From stylish apparel that lets you wear your faith proudly, to beautiful jewelry that speaks to your soul, BibleTales963.store offers a variety of products to suit your style. Need a meaningful gift? Our home decor items and faith-based books are perfect for any occasion. Birthdays, holidays, baptisms, you name it, we've got the perfect present. And for those everyday moments of inspiration, check out our accessories and unique handcrafted items. Each piece is designed to bring peace, comfort, and a touch of spirituality into your life. Visit BibleTales963.store today to explore our full range of products. Discover the joy of sharing your faith through beautifully crafted items. BibleTales963.store, where faith and inspiration meet. Shop now and let your story shine. Obstacles stood in their way. The Jordan River. This river was not just any river, it was a natural barrier that seemed impossible to cross. It was the flood season, the river overflowing its banks. The water levels were at their highest, making the crossing even more treacherous. Imagine the rushing water, a powerful current, a daunting sight for any traveler. The sound of the water was deafening, and the sight was enough to instill fear. Joshua gathered the people. They needed provisions and courage. The journey ahead required them to be well prepared, both mentally and physically. They packed their belongings, prepared their food, and sharpened their swords. Every detail was attended to, ensuring nothing was left behind. Joshua told the people to consecrate themselves to God. This was a time for reflection and spiritual preparation. This meant setting themselves apart, turning their hearts towards God, and preparing for a mighty act. It was a call to deepen their faith and trust in divine guidance. He wanted them to be ready, not just physically, but spiritually as well. Their hearts needed to be in the right place for the miracle that was about to unfold. 3 days they waited, hearts filled with anticipation. Then, the command came. The moment they had been preparing for was finally here. The priests carrying the Ark of the Covenant were to lead the way. This was a significant moment as the Ark symbolized God's presence and guidance. This sacred chest represented God's presence among them. It was a powerful reminder of their faith and the promises made to them. It was a symbol of their faith and the covenant they had with Him. With the Ark leading the way, they were ready to face the challenge ahead, trusting in the divine promise. The priests, feet trembling perhaps, stepped into the raging river. What happened next was nothing short of a miracle. As soon as their feet touched the water, the river stopped flowing. Upstream, the water piled up like a wall. A path, dry ground, appeared before them. The Israelites crossed over on dry ground just like their ancestors had crossed the Red Sea. Can you imagine the scene? The awe, the wonder, the shouts of praise to God? Millions of people, along with their livestock and belongings, walking through the heart of a parted river. To commemorate this miracle, Joshua instructed 12 men, one from each tribe, to take 12 stones from the middle of the riverbed. These stones would be a reminder for generations to come of God's faithfulness, a reminder that even when things seem impossible, God can make a way. Section 4. A time for renewal and remembrance. Now on the other side of the Jordan, in the land of Canaan, the Israelites celebrated two significant events. First, all the men who had been born in the wilderness were circumcised. This was a sign of the covenant between God and His people, a visible reminder of their commitment to Him. Next, they celebrated Passover. This feast commemorated their deliverance from slavery in Egypt. It was a time to remember God's faithfulness and His mighty power to save. Here in this new land, surrounded by new challenges, they were reminded of God's faithfulness in the past. These events, the circumcision and the Passover, were not just empty rituals. They were outward expressions of their inward faith. They were declaring their dependence on God and their trust in His promises. Section 5. A divine encounter with the commander. One evening, as Joshua was scouting near the city of Jericho, he encountered a man standing with a drawn sword. The air was thick with tension, and the setting sun cast long shadows across the land. Joshua, ever vigilant and always ready for battle, approached the man and asked, "Are you for us, or for our enemies?" His voice was steady, but his heart raced with anticipation. The man replied, "Neither, for I am the commander of the Lord's army." His presence was overwhelming, and his words carried a weight that Joshua could not ignore. Joshua immediately fell face down in reverence and awe. He knew he was in the presence of a divine being, a messenger from God. This was no ordinary being. The light that surrounded the commander was otherworldly, and Joshua felt a profound sense of humility. This was a divine messenger, a manifestation of God Himself. The encounter left Joshua with a renewed sense of purpose and determination. The commander then gave Joshua specific instructions for the Battle of Jericho. These were not just ordinary tactics but divine strategies that required faith and obedience. He was to tell the priests to carry the Ark of the Covenant around the city once a day for 6 days. This sacred act was to be a testament to their faith and trust in God's plan. On the 7th day, they were to march around the city 7 times. The repetition was symbolic, a ritual that would culminate in a miraculous event. Then, at the sound of the trumpet, the people were to shout, and the walls of Jericho would crumble down. This divine plan was a testament to the power of faith and the might of God's will. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. To support this channel, visit our Christian-themed store at BibleTales963.store. Every purchase really helps to bring you more content. Section 6. The Battle of Jericho, a strategy of faith. The battle plan for Jericho seemed strange, even foolish. The soldiers were puzzled, their faces filled with doubt and confusion. Marching around a city, blowing trumpets? It was an unusual strategy, one that defied conventional military tactics. Where was the military strategy in that? The soldiers questioned their orders, unsure of the plan's effectiveness. But Joshua knew this was not a battle of human strength, but of obedience to God. He was confident and unwavering in his faith. For 6 days, the Israelite army marched silently around the city. Their discipline and silence were a testament to their faith. The priests carried the Ark of the Covenant, the symbol of God's presence, and 7 priests blew trumpets. The sound echoed through the city. Each day, they circled the city once, then returned to their camp. The routine was the same, but their faith grew stronger. Can you imagine the anticipation building, the faith growing stronger with each passing day? The soldiers' hope was palpable. On the 7th day, they rose early and marched around the city 7 times. The tension was high, and the air was thick with expectation. Then, at Joshua's command, the priests blew a long blast on the trumpets, and the people shouted with a great shout. Their voices rang out in unison, and just as God had promised, the walls of Jericho came tumbling down. The impossible had become possible through faith and obedience. Section 7. Lessons from the Promised Land. The story of Joshua and the Battle of Jericho is more than just an ancient historical account. It's a timeless story of faith, obedience, and the power of God's promises. It teaches us that when we trust in God and follow His commands, even the most impossible obstacles can be overcome. Just like the Israelites crossing the Jordan and conquering Jericho, we too will face challenges and giants in our lives. But the lessons from Joshua remind us that God is with us, just as He was with Joshua. So let us be strong and courageous, just like Joshua. Let us trust in God's promises and obey His commands. And let us remember that even when the walls seem high and the obstacles seem insurmountable, with God on our side, victory is always within reach.